What's up, everybody? That's Sean Designs back again with another process video with a piece I like to call First Things First, Rest in Peace, Uncle Phil, and Procreate 5. So let's get it going. Now, the name comes from a J. Cole verse. You know, when I heard it, I wasn't sure if he was talking about his real Uncle Phil, like he had an uncle named Phil, or he was referencing the Fresh Prince. You know, maybe it was a double entendre. But it was one of the quotes that stood out in the record. You know, so originally when I started to do this piece, I was just gonna make a throwback piece with Phil and Will. But then as I started working on it, you know, some ideas started coming to me, and I said, you know what, that line is dope. Let me use that and work it into the artwork. So that's how I came up with this piece. And working on this piece, it was a lot of difficulties for me. It was a lot of changes, and as you see looking at it, I changed the face on Uncle Phil a lot, and you know, Will, I changed him a lot. I wasn't too sure about his eyes and just little stuff like that. And as I say in my previous videos, that's why I work with a sketch layer first. Your sketch layer is where you want to make all your mistakes at. You know, so you're gonna see me erase and start over a lot. You know, just kind of getting the feel on this layer, because once I get to my line art layer, I want to be done with all of the guesswork, all of the experimenting, all of the test stuff. I want to be done with it when I get to my line art layer. So again, you're going to see me do everything like a bunch of different times, you know. I was feeling like the likeness wasn't there, you know, so it kept bothering me. I kept going back and tweaking things. Even as you see now, even on the line art layer, I'm still not absolutely sure on the look of Uncle Phil. You know, so when you sketching on these things, the good thing about working digitally is that you can erase and start over, and you're not, you know, erasing your paper, making a bunch of marks and holes in your paper. You know, I've been drawing long enough to remember when I would draw and erase with those thick number 2 pencil erasers, and it'll leave red marks on your page. You know what I mean? So we passed that stage. Now we're working digital. So whatever's not working, erase it on your layer and start over. And so I grew up on the Fresh Prince. You know, in my era, I'm from the 90s. So Fresh Prince, Martin, you know, and Living Color. All of that stuff was a big part of my childhood. That's why if you look at most of my artwork, it's all 90s nostalgic stuff. You know, I got like Family Matters pieces. Like I said, Martin pieces. I do a lot of Martin stuff because that's my favorite. I got a lot of Fresh Prince stuff. You know, so every now and then I like to just do a new one just to kind of compare my new stuff to my older stuff. Now, I had an original Fresh Prince piece that was a big piece, and it had the whole family in it. This one, I just wanted to focus on the two main characters, if you want to say. You know, Will and Uncle Phil, so... Like I say, start with your sketch layer, work on it. And on this particular piece, my line art layer, I usually do, like on my line art, I usually do a solid black line. I think it, you know, things come out a little bit better. But this time I did 2 different line art layers. The first one was my solid black, and then my second one was I outlined each object with a darker color of the object that I'm outlining. For example, he has a gray suit. So when I do my outline, I do a darker gray to complement the lighter gray suit that he's wearing. Same thing with Will. I would outline his shirt in a darker yellow, complementing the light yellow that he's wearing. And even on this part, I wasn't absolutely sure about the shadows. You know, it was giving me a tough time figuring out how the shadow was going to hit, and I did a lot of erasing and starting over. You know, so, but that's the fun of working on something like this. It's experiment. You're not absolutely sure what you're going to end up with, but you know it's going to be dope at the end. Another thing I like to do is I added that halo. So what I would do is take the light from the halo and add a little bit of it onto the clothes, just so it kind of blends everything together and it looks like the halo was actually shining on him. And as I said in my previous videos, I don't like to work on a white background. You know, a lot of times I'll take the background out, draw without the background. Then when I'm, you know, kind of confident on the background I'm going to use, drop it in the image, take some of the colors from that background and bring it into my main subjects, just so that it blends all together. And as I was working on this, I was coming up with different ideas. Like in the final piece, he has wings. Up until this point, I wasn't, gonna add any wings. I wasn't even gonna add a halo, because as I said, it started off as just a regular Uncle Phil and Will Smith piece. But things started coming to me as I was working, and so I added the halo. And right now I'm adding the wings. Literally like last minute things. Playing with the different lights and trying to make it fit. Added some clouds in the background. And this is the final piece. So when you're working on stuff like this, everything's not 100% concrete. You got an idea, you flesh your idea out on your sketch layer. Just practicing, drawing what comes to mind. Once you get an idea what you're going to be working with, then you move on to the next step. And it's okay to change stuff up in the middle of the piece. Like I said, it's all digital, so there's nothing wrong with erasing and starting over until you get it the way you like it. So, hope you guys enjoyed. As always, hopefully you could take some points and some tips from this video. Like, share, comment, and I'll see y'all next time around. Peace.